Hey, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Lindsey, and this is Garbage and Gold.
The podcast where we deliberate the worst and the best about all the things.
Deliberation that just so happens to be loaded with snark, laughs, and the occasional agreement.
We are good friends who've been sharing our opinions with each other for a long time, so things might get a little spicy from time to time, but we are still legit friends at the end of the show, we promise.
Promise we are friends, and we want to know your opinions too. We will tell you more about how you can do that at the end of the show. So you guys, it is time. Settle in, because it is time for some deliberation.
Okay, Lindsey, so before we get to this week's deliberation, let's do a recap and poll results of our Avengers episode.
Our Avengers episode, shocking to no one, it did bring about some strong feelings.
It did, yeah, there were some feels out there.
Our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So in the garbage showdown between Hawkeye and the Hulk, the Hulk does win.
Okay.
Barely.
Ow!
Barely.
So that's mine. So we're cool. That's
that is
Lisa,
yours.
Lisa Garbage. Yep.
That is a Lisa Garbage win. And then in the showdown between Captain America, my gold, and Iron Man, your gold, I do win.
No!
People do love their Captain America.
Man!
Yeah, they do. They do.
All right.
Nice try going with,
OG.
the OG Iron Man who
Oh,
brings them all together, but we all know Captain America, he's where it's at.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we do love Chris Evans. That's fair.
All right. So, Lisa, do you have comments that you would like to share? Some of your favorite listener comments?
I do. I have a couple of them. The first one is Laura on Twitter at @LemonDahlias for calling out my passionate shrillness and you trying so hard to act like you cared at all.
I do care. I
quote-
always care.
Just not at the same level that I'm bringing for caring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real.
Her quote on Twitter is, listening right now and I'm dying over how serious Lisa is discussing it. And Lindsey is saying, trying so hard to pretend she is as serious.
Okay, first of all, no one is as serious. Second of all, that is me being an active listener, and that is a positive thing in a partnership.
It is.
To be an active listener.
I appreciate it.
I wanted her to know that I was staying with her.
Still here. Still listening.
Still here.
Not checking my email.
Any minute, I might actually say something of worth if I could get a word in. But
so good. Oh, and then my other comment kind of ties back into it. You had to say, we struck several nerves with the guys at the All Bros podcast. So that's Caleb and Rose at the All Bros on Twitter. We even divided their house with their garbage and gold picks. So really sorry about that.
I think I got accused by them of trying to make Rose cry, and I did intend to make Rose cry. So
yeah, well, good.
That was
That's
my whole
nice.
intention.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, because both of our garbage picks are their favorites. So it felt like a personal attack. It wasn't, but it sure felt like it, and I can understand that. So I mean, it doesn't change our mind on the matter, obviously.
Oh,
but.
no. No. And I think that's one of the things that listeners, we're starting to get comments where people are like, here are all of the reasons why Hawkeye is not garbage. You will not change my mind. It is, I have recorded it. It's
done.
Saved for posterity.
I can't back down.
I don't care that Jeremy Renner goes to hospitals and visits 6 kids. Yeah, that is a really nice thing that he does. Does it make me like Hawkeye anymore? No. Does it make me like Jeremy Renner? No. On Twitter, I did decide this week that Jeremy Renner is like cilantro. You know how some people love cilantro and some people hate it, and no one is ever like, cilantro. Yes. Jeremy Renner is my version of cilantro. I hate him, and there are people who love him.
All right, Lindsey. So what are your listener comments for the week?
Well, I had, so after we recorded the Avengers episode, someone tweeted about Hawkeye, and I've been holding on to this tweet. I screen grabbed it because it was so funny. So John Acuff, at John Acuff, I don't think he follows the podcast, but maybe he'll start. So do you know a few weeks ago, and even probably now, it was one of those where generate your Avengers Endgame with your at whatever.
Oh,
John Acuff was somebody's Hawkeye in that list. And so he tweeted this, and it made me laugh so hard, and I was so sad that it was after we had recorded. So John Acuff, I'm quoting his tweet, "I'm the guy with the bow and arrow who occasionally can kick kind of high." And I was like, John Acuff, where were you when I
needed you.
I needed you. Maybe we would have won, John. Think about that. Think about being part of the team. I just want to be friends with John Acuff. So fun. Anyway, and also there were a couple people who commented like, "I've never seen Avengers, but I'm voting for Lisa because she's so passionate." Listen, folks. If you're going to just vote on the passion level of Lisa, then we're going to stop taking votes because she will win all the time. Because she's passionate about everything.
I am at 11 almost all the time.
Almost all the time. So that's not how this works. That's not how this works. You can't just vote on passion and shrillness.
I appreciate you. Thank you. We did have, you know what, to balance that out, we did have some people that did not vote because they've never seen an Avengers movie also.
Right,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate you people going, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm gonna bow out. But yes. I vote for Lisa because she's so passionate. Okay.
Well, yeah,
all right.
Thank you. I made my face.
It's fine.
It's clearly fine.
It's clearly fine. Jeremy Renner still sucks. Lisa's still passionate. Whatever. The world keeps turning on its axis.
All right. Anything else, Lindsey?
No, I think that's enough.
Okay, now on to the show. Okay, Lindsey, this week, in another very timely topic, we are discussing the garbage and gold of prom.
Yes.
'Tis the prom season.
And because we are so young, we will be going to prom this year.
I was asked, but, there's an age limit. It's 20 and I'm over that, so just barely.
Oh, I am not, but I was busy that weekend, so...
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I'm having to skip prom this year, guys, but it's fine.
So sorry. All right. The research for this episode comes from history.com. And it also comes from the website faviana.com. One of those sounds a lot more legit than the other, but I'll let you choose what you think about that.
There's information about prom on history.com.
Yeah, girl.
That makes me sad about history.
Okay, first of all, it's super fascinating because I love the research, but I also feel
Do you? Shocker. Wait, you like the research?
This is the first I've heard of this.
Ah.
All right, so prom, short for promenade, has not always been a dance for high schoolers. Promenade was originally an event for college students in the Northeast that had its roots in debutante balls, which are like those coming out parties, which are supposed to introduce young women to, quote, polite society and its eligible men. And
it also, according to Gilmore Girls, tells everyone that you are open for business.
No, whoa.
Maybe no, leave that in. But that's a Gilmore Girls reference, just for you.
I like it though. It kind
Seriously,
of,
I think you would love Gilmore Girls because there's just enough snark in it. I'm gonna make you watch some.
I know. Okay.
Continue. Sorry.
Okay. So for middle-class white women who might not be able to afford that level of society, co-ed prom parties for graduating seniors served a similar function by introducing women to the adult world of manners and etiquette and putting them on display for potential husbands. So that kind of leans into your Gilmore Girls. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Early proms were governed by the same rules and dress codes as debutante balls were. So they were racially segregated, for instance, and girls were forbidden to wear any sort of masculine clothing like pants or whatever. So white high schools began to introduce proms to their teenage students in the 1920s and were still segregated by race. By the time the Great Depression rolls around in the 30s, prom had become a big enough deal that some high school principals canceled the dances because poorer students could have been, quote, psychologically wounded because they weren't able to attend or whatever.
Wow. I think we all are psychologically wounded by prom.
I mean, on some level, probably, yes.
Right.
Proms really became a thing in the 1950s when the post-war boom and new consumer market geared toward teenagers made the celebration a mainstay of your high school year, and one that boys should invite girls to and not vice versa, because 50s. That's
right. Watch out.
How they did. Yep.
But then Sadie Hawkins fixed it all.
She sure did. In the 60s and 70s, many white schools that had integrated their classrooms began to hold 2 proms, one for white students and one for black students. Ugh. In the famous case of the Charleston High School in Mississippi, white parents began organizing invite-only proms for white students. And then in 1970, the black students began attending. In response, black parents organized their own prom for their kids. This is just so bananas to me that this is a thing. But so what I'm about to say is real. It's from history.com. It's a legit thing. Charleston High's proms received national attention in 1997 when actor Morgan Freeman promised to pay for the school dance if it agreed to hold one integrated prom. The school said no, and they continued to hold racially segregated proms until 2008. The saga detailed, and there's a documentary called Prom Night in Mississippi that talks about all that. But Charleston isn't even the most recent school to desegregate its prom. In the year 2013.
That's like in the last decade, folks.
Students at Wilcox County High School in Abbeville, Georgia, had their first integrated prom. 2013! Yeah, not great. Okay. Woof. Yeah, the research was fascinating. I told you. But not in a good way. Like in a sad way. So as schools struggled with the racial and LGBTQ inclusion between the 80s and today, prom became a more prominent subject in media in general. So a new genre of teen movies like Pretty in Pink, She's All That, and Mean Girls portrayed prom as a major event for drama and romance. So, and just a little snippet here, a factoid for you, Lindsey. What do you think the average amount spent on prom per individual is?
Oh, I think it depends, because if you're renting a tux, it's way different than if you're buying a dress. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say like $400.
The average starting amount for prom, that includes dress, shoes, bag, hair, makeup, tickets, limo, dinner, all of that stuff, $1,078.
Oh my. What?
Yeah. Lindsey has a disgusted face.
No,
you guys
can't
disgusted.
See it. I'm like bewildered. Like,
yeah.
You could almost.
Yeah, it's like
that's like a down payment. Yeah, it's a down payment on a car.
Yeah,
high school kids get a car instead.
It turns out the history of prom has a lot of garbage in it. Actually,
it does.
So
yeah.
it feels right that we should now talk more about prom garbage. So, Lindsey, what is your garbage for prom?
So my garbage for prom, and I feel like there's a lot of garbage in prom to choose from.
Correct.
But my garbage is the drama that surrounds prom. So about 5 months before prom even happens, the drama begins. And so it is all about who is going to go with who, where are you going to get your dress, what if you can't find the perfect dress, who are you going to rent the limo with, how many people can fit in the limo, how tan are you going to get before prom, because I graduated in the early aughts, and there were girls who would go to the tanning bed and do like the sticker thing. Do you know about this? Put the sticker in the same spot on their hip, and then they would show how tan they were.
Would you hate me if I said I was that girl, Lindsey?
I wouldn't be surprised if you were.
It was a phase in my life. I'm not proud of it, but it was me for a minute.
Yep. And for weeks, even if you weren't actually going to prom, it's in like every conversation. So in my high school, prom was for juniors and seniors only. But if you were an underclassman and you were invited by an upperclassman as their date, you could go. Right. So freshman year, the drama started around who was going to get asked to prom. That is 4 years of prom drama as you try to figure out your date, and all of those other things.
Right.
And so as the prom gets closer, the drama only increases. Everyone
Correct.
suddenly becomes afraid of breaking up with their significant other, even if they're
Yep.
the worst, because then
Yep.
what are you going to do for prom? You go by yourself. It's fine. But like that was a whole thing.
It
Or like
is.
friend fighting is happening and you're like, but if we fight with them, then they're not going to be in the limo at prom and all of
Yep.
this stuff. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember much about prom, and I went twice, but I think I've tried to like block most of it. But I remember this just underlying tension in the
Yes.
hallway that permeated everything.
Yep.
And then that's before you even get to the dance. So then you get to the dance, and like high school students are notoriously terrible to their dates, and girls always end up crying in the bathroom all over their fancy dresses, and their makeup is like streaming down their face. Like I had a friend who had a boyfriend who went to a different school, and she brought him to every high school dance, and every high school dance she ended up crying in the bathroom because he was so terrible. And I'm like, this is just not worth it. Like high school is dramatic enough. High school students' prom is just a blip on the radar of your life. It will be over soon. Like skip it. Don't go, because the drama is not worth it.
Okay. All right. I'll save my thing for my thing. Okay. All right.
Okay. Right? Was it dramatic in your school around
It
prom?
was dramatic. I wouldn't say skip it is what I was. Is my alternate. So
that might be strong. Maybe skip it is too strong, but know what it is. Know what it actually is. This is not going to be the best night of your life. This is not going to be the best.
There's a lot of build up to something that's a one night event. That's seriously, it's really hard to put words around that, and that it feels like the most important and most significant moment in your life. It really, 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 really does. Right. And I swear to God, even 3 months later, you're like, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. But then just as time passes, it becomes less and less significant. But in the moment, it just feels like this is the most important thing happening in my life.
Did you feel it wasn't that important because your tan was faded?
Listen, my tan was on point for prom, first of all. So you can stop right there. That was still in the days of the fake bake. I think now they do spray tan, which is supposed to be better for you. But no, I was... I was real fake baked. Yeah,
I was, pale girl over here was not going to fake bake because it wasn't going to be pretty. But
I also think
it's
yes, we did. I will also say being a prom in the South is very different than prom in the Midwest. I'm guessing. I'm just gonna hedge a guess.
There was one girl who started taking folic acid, which is what you take when you're pregnant, to help boost the development of like hair and skin and nails and all that. She started taking folic acid the year before so her hair would be pretty at prom.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that does not surprise me. Yeah.
I knew way too much about her prom preparations.
her experience in general.
Yeah. I also knew how dark her tan got because she did show us the heart on her hip.
Not proud of that, Lindsay. Really not proud of that. But as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, yep.
I'm glad at least you were honest and weren't like,
That's me.
I've never heard of that.
Oh my God. I'm afraid if I was like, yeah, what? Like my friends would be like, you totally did. I'd be like, yeah. So I'm just going to own it now and just own my truth. I don't recommend it. It was not classy. I'm just saying it was a thing that I did.
See, Lisa, this is what is interesting because I don't have any friends left from high school, and I'm almost guaranteed they're not listening to this. I had friends when I was in high school, but
just so we're clear.
So what do you think is the difference between prom in the South and prom in the Midwest? Because I don't know what prom in the South is.
I think a big difference that I think of right off the bat is... So when you guessed $400, I can tell you when I went to prom, also in the early aughts, I graduated, in the early aughts. I bet I spent $300 on my dress alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's shoes, limo, our tickets, and then our prom was held at like a fancy hotel in downtown Houston.
Oh, high school gym. So that was
expensive. And yeah, right. So we did not have any. We had like our homecoming was in the gym and like our little like whatever festival-y dances were in the gym. But prom was like high end, super spendy. Did you guys do prom? Did you go somewhere to have prom pictures taken? Like, did you go to an outdoor like venue?
No, they do now.
Yeah.
They do now. It's a much bigger thing, but no, we didn't.
yeah, I think we went to like the golf course and had like photos taken and all that stuff. It is a real big production. Yeah. And I'm sure it's only gotten more so in the South. Right. It's been a minute since I was at prom, but.
Did you guys have the Grand March before the dance?
No. Yeah. I graduated with like 870 people in my class. So no, that would have taken many days.
Yeah, no, we had a Grand March.
Yeah, please explain what the Grand March is for those who may not know.
The Grand March is couples walk around in front of a crowd of people while music plays so that everyone can see their dresses. Yep. I wonder if that like took the place of like now with social media, you go and you take pictures and you post it on social media and all your mom's friends can see your dress. But the Grand March would be packed with people to watch you and your date walk around in a circle, like you on his arm. It's almost like the walk-in of a wedding.
Yep. Because exactly. That is exactly
staggered
it.
out, and then you like stop and smile,
and they announce your name.
And they announce your names. Yeah, it's a thing. So no Grand March for Lisa. All right, so Lisa, my garbage is done. It's just the drama of it all. What is your garbage of prom?
My garbage of prom does dovetail in with yours because there's also drama with this. But my garbage for prom are promposals.
Oh, such a good one.
So for those of you who may not be familiar, because you also are not young like Lindsey and I, promposals is a hybrid of the word prom and proposal. And this is the definition from Urban Dictionary. This is a word referring to a proposal by either a male or female to a prospective date for prom. They can be something as simple as passing a note or something as elaborate as proposing with a flash mob. So there's a pretty wide range here. In essence, a promposal is asking someone to prom. The reason why promposals are garbage is because they are, like, prom already has so much, like, drama, and it's so extra, and it's so inflated, and then it's like, how can we make this even more absurd and ridiculous? Oh, let's make the asking of someone to prom as public as possible. Perfect. Right. So, all right. Promposals are usually very public, and it's all about the staging. And they usually, at least in my area, they usually involve a good pun. Like, they'll try to do a pun on someone's name, or what it'd be really sweet if you went to prom with me and there's like a bunch of candy, whatever. Right. But, and I do love a good pun. I will admit that right now. And
I like a promposal where I get candy. Like, I'm in.
I mean, okay. I like to get candy. That's fine. I like to get candy. But the over-the-topness is just so ridiculous. It's usually all for the gram, and it's so obvious, and it's so cheesy, and it's typically pretty cringe. And I guess, and part of me, too, is I'm just kind of against any sort of public display of affection in general. So when there's like this, I really like you, will you go to prom with me? It's just like I fold in on myself. I'm like, oh, God, like declaring your feelings in public. Like, like it's just, I can't.
Don't ask me to do anything in public. Like, don't ask me to go to prom with you. Don't ask me to dinner. Don't ask me to marry you. Don't do any of that publicly.
No.
I will say no. Like, I will say no.
Just it's like my instant reaction be like, nope. Yes, ask me privately, whatever. But that's not how promposals work. Promposals are typically very public in front of a bunch of people, usually involving a bunch of people. So
my friends do find it very funny that when at sporting events, when there is like a proposal, I do usually shout, "Say no." So I just really don't like them. They make me very uncomfortable.
Same. Yeah. So the idea of asking someone a really personal question on a very public stage and everyone's watching, it's ridiculous. It's over the top. Prom is already super over the top. It's garbage. It's too much. There's just too many things going on. And like you said, I would like to tie this in too. The promposal, again, very public, over the top. And usually by the time it gets to prom, like, things have shifted a little bit. So, like, you do your promposals, like, 4 months in advance. A lot changes in 4 months. And so then you're like, okay, am I going to still go with this person?
Yep.
Or am I going to find someone new? And then, like, the promposal, like, do you delete the promposal post? There's just a lot of things to consider
do you have to come up with a second promposal? And then the person obviously has seen that you already did that to somebody else. And so now they know that they're second choice.
Right?
Ooh.
Right. And then is the promposal not as good as the first one? Oh,
Yeah.
God. Ah! I don't miss it. Do not miss it. Woof. No.
No,
So,
not at all.
so that's my garbage, Lindsey. Promposals.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Oh, just think of the expectations that like these people have now for getting engaged.
I know. God, no.
Like,
no. I will say also, if you are not familiar with promposals, you should just do a quick Goog of those. There's lots of ideas like on Pinterest or whatever, and there's just like online articles of promposals that have gone viral. It's bananas.
There was a kid on Ellen who promposed to his friend on Ellen. She did say yes. I hope they have a lovely time.
Even though you were screaming, say no.
I was screaming, say no. Say no.
Crush his heart!
Don't do it!
Make him regret putting his heart on the line in public! Teach him a lesson!
I'm just saying, no one looks good on a Jumbotron.
No.
So don't propose on one. Don't do it. That's a lot of pressure. Those are big. Like, okay, marriage proposals are obviously very big, but like that's a very big thing to ask somebody in a very large public arena like that, with so many drunk people around you.
Yep.
Or like at concerts. At concerts when people ask like the musician to
Ow!
No. No.
God, I hate it. Let's just talk about things we hate for a while. That seems to be the route we're going.
I also hate.
So we've talked about a lot of the garbage, which there's plenty. Is there anything gold in prom, Lindsey? Do you have any golden prom things?
So my gold prom thing is actually prom scenes from movies.
Oh, that's
especially teen-driven movies. Partly because they seem great and they make real life prom like not measure up.
That's like that is very much like any sort of romance movie, or which you know I've seen 3 of those in my whole life, and any
and
of those
one
are
of
like
them someone died.
It's just the expectations are unrealistic. Yeah, but anyway, they're super fun to watch.
Totally, they are super fun to watch.
Yeah.
So some of the best examples of these can be found in movies like Mean Girls. 10 Things I Hate About You. R.I.P. Heath Ledger.
Such a good movie.
Such a good movie. She's All That. Grease. Pretty in Pink. Back to the Future.
Yes.
Footloose.
Yes.
And of course the wonderful Carrie.
That's more Lisa zone. That's more Lisa zone, yeah.
Yes. But still, an example of a scene of prom in a movie. So often a prom scene in a movie is the dramatic climax where the bad kids get what is coming to them and couples who've been ripped apart by circumstances get back together, or they celebrate their reunion. And some of my favorite movie moments are those prom scenes. It's where I learned how to hand jive. Yeah. It's where I truly understood being torn between 2 guys while wearing a pink dress. I mean, it's where I learned that in life you can easily join the band and play an awesome guitar solo. And it is where Kevin Bacon screams, "Let's dance," which makes you actually want to dance even though you're not at prom with him. A movie prom is the perfect backdrop for a tense exchange between characters. Movie proms are the best.
They really are.
Yeah. Like in She's All That, where Freddie Prinze Jr. is like, "Oh no, I like you now that you don't have glasses." Whatever, Freddie.
The quote transformation. From nerd to hot, which is her taking her glasses off.
She took her glasses off. And he's like, "No, I like you now that you don't have glasses on." And she's like, "I'm leaving with this guy." And he's like, "No." It's so dramatic. And even better, there was a time in the early aughts, late 90s, that those prom scenes had dance numbers. They're just fun and silly, and I love a prom scene because they look nice, and like the drama is always contained very specifically, and things usually work out. Yep. Either during prom, before prom, or right after prom. They are quality stuff. So while the real life drama of prom is definitely garbage, the dramatic moments in a movie's prom scenes are definitely gold.
I'm with you there. With you there. I think the one that is the most memorable to me is Mean Girls prom, obviously, because you're right. It's when Katie comes to the conclusion of, you know, because she's gone through her whole journey, like her whole character arc has happened, and then she shares the crown with everybody. And I really liked that. I thought that was, because you're right, that is a good way for them to kind of wrap up all of that emotional, you know, narrative in that moment. So they do a good job in prom movies with that.
Yeah. And everyone's together, and it makes sense that everyone's together. And
yeah.
It's so good. All right. So, Lisa, what is your gold of prom?
My gold of prom, Lindsay, is prom hair.
Seriously?
Yes!
I can't wait to hear this.
It was the first time I ever had my hair, like, done for something. And I loved it. Like, it felt really nice to have, like, my hair done. So the best part about getting your hair done for prom is you spend weeks and maybe even months looking for the perfect hair to go with your dress. You look at, like, current trends and something to be unique but not the same as your friends. So it's just like the dress. No one can have the same. No one can have the same prom hair. It's very important. It's a little known fact for, you know, people that don't have their hair done for prom. You have to get it done crazy early in the day because those poor hairdressers, bless them, they are doing hair for prom from 8 a.m. until like 5 p.m. I swear to God. They're doing it all day long. So you're getting your hair done probably in the morning, and then you have to wear a shirt or whatever you can take off without pulling it over your head because you're having all the hairspray and all the stuff done in it. So you spend all that time looking for hair, and I think that's really great. And unlike a prom dress, I think prom hair has the ability to make you feel beautiful regardless of your body shape, type, or how much you spent on your dress. So while you may not be able to spend like a ton of money on a dress, like you could do your own hair at home and it can still look incredible. So beautiful hair makes women feel beautiful, and it's an inclusive beauty that I feel is attainable by everyone, and it's a great go-to for a compliment if someone's dress is actually hideous. You can always say, I really like your hair, because it's different than usual.
Look at your hair.
Or look at it. Yeah.
Your hair.
You've given a great compliment before. I can tell, Lindsay. I did look this up. The average time spent getting your hair done for prom is between an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Seriously?
That's how long it takes. Yeah. That's how long it takes to get your hair done. Yep. How long it takes to get your hair done for prom. So a bonus is that it is almost guaranteed that in 5 to 10 years, all this time you've invested in your hair for prom, you will regret it 100%. You will think it was the best choice at the time, and you'll look back and be like, nope, that was a terrible choice, but it was super important at the time, and you felt super beautiful at the time. So, Lindsay, I have a surprise for you. I have pictures of my prom hair, and Lindsay has not seen these, and I'm going to show them, and I would like for you to describe to the people what it looks like. This is my actual... I only went to one prom, because in Houston, you could only go to your senior prom. So, okay, I'm going to... Can you describe my prom hair real quick?
Oh, yeah. Look at you. You have hair.
I do.
So Lisa's, all of your hair is twisted on your scalp.
Yeah.
Right? Are those twists or just pulled back in?
Those,
like
I refer to those as white girl cornrows. Yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely, but are they braided or just twists?
I think they are twisted. Okay.
Yeah, they're twists. Yep. And then it is all gathered into a curled, messy bun at the top. You kind of look like a beautiful pineapple.
You might not be able to tell this in the photo, Lindsay, but I also have glitter hairspray.
Oh, glitter hairspray.
I also really had a problem with overplucking my eyebrows, but that is not about my hair.
I didn't even look at your eyebrows. Dang it.
Oh,
I missed
well,
it.
there you go. Yep. Yeah, but just another one for reference. So, okay, so there's this one.
Oh, you're next to a pineapple now. I can't tell which one's you.
You're the worst. Okay. So here's my friend Whitney, and her hair looks a lot more sleek and like timeless. But then this one, she's got kind of the same thing as me with like the...
Yeah, but she also has the ringlets in front of the ears. You don't.
She
have
does.
Those.
I do
those
not have
were
that.
big in the early.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. So that was my prom hair, which again, I looked at ideas for prom hair. Weeks. And that's what I chose. And I thought I was the best. And then here I am with white girl cornrows and glitter hairspray. So, you know. But now I'm looking at this picture of the rest of my friends at prom, and they don't all have awful hair. So maybe the regret is only for some of us. Okay. Well.
I had so my junior year, and I don't have any pictures of this because no. But my junior year, I had like an Audrey Hepburnish kind of dress.
Oh.
And so I had my hair like in a chignon in the back. Oh,
yeah.
It was very classy. It was very full of hairspray and not pretty. And I looked like I was like 45. I don't know what I was thinking. And I legit
you were thinking of like a classic retro look. I get it. Yeah. Because your hair does need to match the dress. I get it.
I can't even believe I'm telling you this, but I wore gloves. I wore like elbow length gloves.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did.
Oh.
I just decided to go full Audrey, which was great because I am, as we've talked about, I'm very tall. And so my dress was like a couple inches too short. So I was trying to go for this like long, beautiful dress with like a train, but it was too short. So the train didn't really work out. I don't know why people from high school aren't still friends with me. Maybe it is my prom dress. And then senior year, I know what the dress looks like because I found it in my parents' house. I don't know what happened. I don't know anything about that prom. Like I don't have a clue. My dress was lavender with black lace overlay. That's all I know.
Oh.
But I couldn't tell you how my hair was done. Couldn't tell you anything.
Really? Man.
Yeah.
I guess because I just had the one, maybe. Yeah, my dress was kind of like an iridescent forest green, I guess is the best way I can describe it. All right, so anyway, wrapping it up here, prom hair is the gold of prom because it's something everyone can do. You don't have to spend a ton of money, but you can splurge if you want to. There's tons of ideas for all sorts of styles and hair types, and it's a way for you to personalize your look with confidence. So that is why I think prom hair is the gold of prom.
So good.
All right, Lindsey, so hit us with that recap and tell our listeners how to vote.
You guys can go and vote for our garbage options, mine the drama around prom, and Lisa's promposals using the hashtags Lindsey Garbage or Lisa Garbage, and your vote for our gold options, my gold prom scenes in movies, and Lisa's gold prom hair, using the hashtags Lindsey Gold or Lisa Gold on our Instagram and Twitter accounts at GarbageGoldPod.
Yeah, please do that because we love to hear what you guys think and we like chatting with you about your choices. And if you have any things that we maybe missed about prom, either garbage or gold, let us know that. Get up in our feeds. Tell us all your feels. And
maybe like if you do have pictures of you at prom, we want to see them.
Absolutely.
Are you going to post yours, Lisa? You should post yours.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. I don't have mine, so.
I'm owning my past. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. We will share. I'm owning my past. It just
you
flew
are.
Away.
You are. I just, it's one thing to talk about it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. Yep, I'll do it. I will.
Well, you do the edit, so maybe you edited that part out, and it doesn't happen.
That's true. We'll see.
We will share the poll results and our favorite listener comments on our next episode.
And if you haven't done so already, if you could head on over to iTunes or wherever it is you listen to us every week and give us a rate, review, and subscribe, we would really like that.
And we would really like it if you would tell your friends about us. If you have enjoyed any part of this episode, please refer us over to your friends who might enjoy it as well. And then join us next week when we deliberate the garbage and gold of 2018 top 40 songs. I know.
I got some research to do for that.
I know.
Man.
I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like it's going to be good. I feel like there's a lot of good options.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's a wide variety of options. That's what makes me nervous.
Did Selena Gomez release any songs in 2018? Because that's my gold for sure. That was a joke. That was sarcasm.
I was trying to think.
Make that clear.
I was trying to think if Kendrick Lamar's album came out in 2018. If it did, that's going to be right up top for me.
Yeah, but is it in the top 40? We have to define what the top 40 list is.
You're right. We did talk about that. So it'll be the top 40 like the Billboard Top 40 for the year.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he would be. One of them would be. I think DNA might be on there. Anyway, so we'll see. But I think there's going to be a pretty wide variety of what our garbage and golds are going to be next week.
Do you think? I wonder.
I think maybe. I think maybe.
Maybe.
Oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
All right, so we will see you next time.
All right, bye guys.